And everyone's Dark here. Today in Instagram, I got asked a question that I'm fairly asked pretty much frequently, and it's how to make a good chiptune song, or at least catchy. So, let's get to it.
Learn about chiptunes. Andrew Van Zark, power to the music.
Now, the first thing that we gotta keep in mind is a few things. Chiptunes originally were made in trackers. They're still fairly done in trackers, like with LSDJ, Milky Tracker, Renoise, Family Tracker, Defil Mask, and so on and so on and so on. Like, it's like the reason why it's made with trackers is because the same thing as metal. When you play a guitar, you need to put that distortion on. Well, in trackers, it's all choppy, it's all sound bites, and the arpeggios are so perfectly made on trackers, rather than on a DAW that you have to like program it and make it flow a little bit. It's more free than synced. So yeah, it's better to have a tracker for this kind of situation. But in a modern situation, most of the people use a DAW. So let's get started. With Logic Pro X, you can do a few things. You can either download external plugins that help you with the chiptune sound, or just build it yourself. It's just square wave, triangle wave, and noise. Sure, you can use wave sometimes, but usually it's mostly square wave, triangle wave, and noise. Noise is for percussion. Triangle wave is mostly for making blips and blops and those sounds that are melodic. And the triangle is mostly to do the bass. So, that being said, another thing to keep in mind is you can do like different sounds from different synthesizers to work within each other. For example, if you got a synthesizer going da na 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 na, you can randomly stop it and then put another different type of synthesizer sound, square wave or whatever sound you're using, and do a response to that. It was da na 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 na, to do that kind of stuff, like call and response. It'll make it catchier and more entwined song. Another thing you should keep in mind is that um, square waves and all that kind of stuff, they sound really nice when they're choppy. In my case, they sound really good when they're like choppy and like really fast and arpeggiated and stuff like that. So most of the time, even though on RPGs and other types of video games, you would have softer and shorter and less of a higher BPM number, like 95, 97, 88. But usually chiptunes are done with 130 and over BPMs, like 130, 140, 150, 160. 160 is just stretching it a little bit too much. Like if you want to go like a bit to the drum and bass territory. So yeah. Anyways, enough with the talking. Let's get started with making a song. Okay, I have already some preset sounds that I like to use sometimes. Another good thing is to always have like delays and stuff like that. It'll add into the sound a little bit more. And nowadays you don't really need to make sounds that sound like what the machine can produce. Nowadays you can just simply just do whatever is that sounds chiptune to you, or keygen like they call it nowadays, and just flow away, because now you just have the MP3 file, stab it in there, and you're good to go. So, let's start with this one. This one is using my Abit plugin, and you can do stuff like, I already have a delay in here. That delay in here is, I use the preset of the DJ delay with the delay designer here, and I have it on negative 2.2 of decibels, right? Negative 2, any sort of range of negative 2. And then the mix I have on the wet, I have it on negative 16.5. It all depends on what you want to achieve and what sound you want to go. Usually the delay that you want to have on a chiptune is mostly like a few seconds of the sound just fading out. Like for example, something like that. And it's good if you have it like in a way that it's arpeggiating that delay. Yeah, something like that. So let's boost this to 130. The way I like to do it. You see that the delay design just adjusted to the project's BPM. So let's get on with it. First things first. Let's do like a short melody here. Let's first find what kind of sound we want. Do we want vibrato in it or not? Let's see. Vibrato. No vibrato. See, it sounds more straight. Let's record something like that. Let's first do a cycle here. And let's tap it in there. Alright. That's a good starting point. Let's quantize it so it's all good. And one thing we can do to make this sound more interesting, we can get those fast arpeggiated parts. And we can do a new instrument. And let's get something really high pitched and something. Let's change a little bit here. The sound, something more. Let's see if that works. Oh yeah, that works. And the delay, let's increase the delay. More feedback, more wets, and that. There we go. Now we can move this, and we can have that call and response thing. Different sounds of synthesizers can make things sound way better. So, that being said, now we can start adding a bass line to this. So, let's go get our triangle. I already have a preset here with the 8-bit plugin with the magical 8-bit. And then let's go get started with something. Let me lower that 1 octave. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's record something. Alright, we gotta fix something here. Let me fix this here, because I was supposed to arpeggiate there. Select all, quantize, and let's listen. And now we can start adding some drums to this. So let's get our noise. I think this should add a little less decay. Yeah, something like that. So adding some percussion to this. There we go. I'm gonna use the noise as a hi-hat. Then I'm gonna add with a pick crusher kit that I have. I'm gonna add the other parts of the drums. So this is how this would sound for like hi-hat sound. octal, quantize it so we can make sure it didn't grab the first note. I don't like the respond hi-hat one to be too loud. Let's lower the velocity. Alright, now, to finish it off, let's get that drum kit. Go here, producer kit. If you have Logic Pro X, this is straight up stock plugin for all you Logic Pro X users. But you can literally just grab any drum kit, put a bit crusher into it, or something that crushes the sound, and just lower it until it sounds really crunchy, really noisy, and like this sounds every time you hit a drum behind it. That kind of sound. So, see? Sounds kind of noisy, kind of crunchy, kind of distorted. So, let's get on with writing a good drum pattern for this. I feel like something fast, something, that can give us some groove to it. So let's go. And then we quantize to make sure everything is perfect. I think I made like a slightly small error here. Somewhere around here, I think I did. Oh no, it's all good. Right? Nah, right. There we go. That's better. Okay, we're having some problems at the beginning. I see. Alright. Alright, so that's how you make a catchy cheap tune or a good cheap tune. It's all about knowing your instruments, knowing when to use what sound and what sound. Remember that the key factor for a cheap tune is arpeggiators, whether it is computerized made arpeggiators like this, like something like this. Right? Or you do it yourself. Or stuff like that. Always keep in mind the arpeggiators. Always have a moment of tension and release. And the biggest thing that a cheap tune should have is repetition. It has to be catchy and repetitive. Whether it is the bass line that's repetitive or the melody that's repetitive or the drums are repetitive, but something has to be repetitive. Something has to be like there all the time. There has to be a bass there, a bass line, or how should I say, like a foundation that's gonna always give you this repetitive thing that you're always back at home, even though they're changing things on the top end of the foundation. So that's basically how you do music with the mindset of keygen and chiptune. And if you keep those things in mind, repetition, knowing when to use square waves and the bass lines and the triangle waves and stuff like that, knowing how to accurately and as good as possible use the noise, because noise can go whoa. You can make snares with it, you can make hi-hats, you can actually blend in and just do some weird sounding uh, drums with noise. But in all, chiptune is mostly about experimenting with what a computer can generate through your input by just putting some parameters to it, like the arpeggiators you program on the computer, or the software, better said. The way you use the vibrato, it's all about programming. It's basically like doing electronic music, but it's more based on what the computer can do rather than what you can do. Because chiptunes are really choppy, are really precise, are like really computerized, and it's like really bleeps that the computer can produce. And back in the day, that was heavily. That's why it's called cheap tune. It's from a chip that was integrated to a machine, a console, or a keyboard, or a MPC that it was limited to what that chip could produce. And that's how you do it. And this question was asked by Adrian, my good old friend Adrian. But I get this question asked a lot. So, like I said, just experiment, arpeggio, square wave, triangle wave, noise, and just repetition. Make it catchy, make it repetitive, but don't make it annoying. Just keep it repetitive, but don't make it annoying. Something bearable. So, that being said, remember, power to the music. Don't forget to subscribe, click the bell to get notified. I'm always live every Friday at 9 p.m. unless my Wi-Fi or my internet connection goes wacko. But if it's not wacko, I'm always live at Facebook every Friday at 9 p.m. So catch me there, and I'll see you all on the flip side. Don't forget to follow me on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you want to listen to music, and just check my music, or follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, anywhere under my name, Andrew Van Zark. So as always, I'll catch you on the flip side. Power to the music. Bye. Sign off.